I'm going to call the meeting to order for the Easton Housing Authority, Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. It is 5:09 p.m. I'm going to do a roll call. Commissioner Chris-Ann Sheedy.
Here.
Dennis Sheedy.
Here.
Don Burrows.
Here.
Tom Tebow. And you're muted, Tom. Is that intentional? There you go. Thank you.
Automatically came on muted.
Okay. And okay, so we're all present and correct. Agenda item number 1 is the public meeting for the proposed annual plan for the fiscal year ending 2022. And I'd like to turn the meeting over to Executive Director Kathy Steiger.
Good evening, everyone. This is the first year that we've done an annual plan for the Department of Housing and Community Development for 2022. I know in your packets, I gave you an updated annual plan CIP because we're having trouble getting the funding to appear on the actual plan. So on your copies I sent to you, I highlighted the funds, the special funds, the Community Preservation Act funds, and the other funds on there so that you can see it. And it has been corrected now on the annual plan. I was working with the HCD on that. As you know, this is the first year. It's been publicly posted, and we're ready to hear any questions or concerns that someone might have regarding the plan.
You're muted. Dennis, you're muted.
Thank you. I know it's an extensive advertising for this and stuff. Could you just go over that with us? What the requirements are for it?
Oh, that we have to advertise the plan in all different languages. It was posted in the community rooms and on our website, and it had to be done 45 days before the public hearing, so people would have the opportunity to review the plan and issue any concerns or questions that they had regarding the plan and prepare for this meeting to do so.
Additionally, the Board of Commissioners were required to read the plan. And at this meeting today, we will offer any recommendations and approve the annual plan if a motion is made. And that would be in advance of the submission to DHCD.
I found the plan, especially the first year, it's a compilation of the policies that were put together over the past 10 years or so. It's nice to get the really it's not out there, it's out there in draft, but it'll be out there for public comment, for public review from now on, and every year we'll update it. So I don't want to make it more complicated than it is. I think you did a good job getting all the parts together, and it wasn't easy, right, Kathy? You just told us that getting the numbers for the CIP and those technical issues that will hopefully get easier as years go on. So I think you did a good job, and I would certainly, if there are no questions, move to have it, a motion to have it approved and submitted, I guess.
So I just have a question. I agree with Tom. Absolutely. It's great that you've got it together. I know it's the first time around, so it's a little bit daunting, but hopefully it does get easier. So has anybody approached you with any questions, or just what you might be hearing at this point now?
I'll be honest. We don't see too many of the tenants. We do see them when we're coming and going. Like I said, it was posted in both community rooms. It's on our website. I have not received any questions regarding it. I personally, it was a lot of work to try to put it all together, but I really think it's a good plan. I like it for reference for ourselves as well. It really puts everything into play. And even seeing the tenant surveys on the back of the plan, that was the first time I had seen those. Even though I knew that they were out there, I'd never received anything from DHCD showing those surveys, and I think we did well on that.
Are there any questions from the commissioners, from the board? Okay, I have no questions. I agree with Tom and Chrisanne. I think it was very well put together. I did go through the whole thing. I remember it was a warm, sunny day when I got this from Kathy, so it was like months ago. Seems like months ago. And I agree that it's well put together. And we have a motion by Tom Tebow to submit this plan. May I have a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second that motion.
Okay, I've got Chrisanne Sheedy as the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will move forward with a roll call vote. Commissioner Chrisanne Sheedy,
Yes, approve. Go forward.
Don Burrows,
Yes.
Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Tom Tebow,
Yes.
and Chair Widdop. I say yes, so it's unanimous.
Thank you all.
Cross that off your to-do list.
Thank goodness.
There's one more step, Kathy. There's one more step you have to do after this, so,
Yep, I've already got an appointment with Beth tomorrow.
okay, good.
That brings us to agenda item number 3, which was postponed from the October meeting. It's the October warrant approval in the amount of $196,638.01. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the, where are we, October warrant in the amount of $196,638.01.
I will second that motion.
I have a motion by Dennis Sheedy, a second by Chrisanne Sheedy. Is there any discussion on this? Any questions?
All looked in order to me.
I have one question, Kathy, the
Mhm.
chair. There was a check, 2 checks for Graves, which took care of the paving on Chandler Way. Did you have to do a deposit and then pay the balance? Is that how that worked? Is that why there were 2 checks?
No, the Graves is the architect on the job, and it depends on when they do their submissions, and those submissions are put into Cap Hub by the architect, and then the money is requisitioned from DHCD, and it's put into our account, and I don't pay those bills until the funds are in the account to pay those bills.
Thank you for that explanation.
You're welcome.
Any further questions? Hearing none, we will now do a roll call vote to approve the October warrant in the amount of $196,638.01. Commissioner Chrisanne Sheedy,
Yes.
Don Burrows,
Yes.
Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Tom Tebow,
Yes.
and Chair Widdop, yes, so that's unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the financial statements, the quarterly operating statements for as of September 30th, the quarter ending September 30th. This also was postponed from the October meeting. I'm sorry, the November meeting. I apologize. I'm looking for a motion to approve this.
I'll move to approve it. I'll put on file.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Tom Tebow and a second by Dennis Sheedy to approve the quarterly statements and place them on file. Any discussion or questions?
Just one question, Kathy, sort of related to this. How are your tenants' accounts receivable? Have they been affected by the pandemic?
No, they haven't. They've actually been pretty good. We only have one or two that haven't paid. We're working on that, but for the most part, they've been really well. Rents are down slightly because of the amount of vacancies we've had, but again, it's slightly, and we right now, our focus is going to be on trying to get all those vacancies filled. We're in the middle of the AUP and federal audit, so we've took back a little bit trying to compile all the information for the auditors, but now that that's all been submitted, we're going to move forward with these vacancies.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions on the financial statements and quarterly operating statements for the fiscal year ending September 2020?
I was just curious, it seemed to me like the reserves were down a little bit. I didn't have a previous month to look at, so I was going from memory.
They are a project that was done in 2015, closed out in 2017, that we used operating reserves for, was never accounted for appropriately. And in order for us to submit everything, they backed out the reserves that were used for that other project. So they are down a little bit.
So how much was that was paid out? Or reallocated?
Yeah, it was reallocated. It just wasn't accounted for correctly when the mod reports were submitted, that we used reserves for the project. And I want to say it was 056. I'm honestly drawing a blank on the job at the moment. I apologize, but it was all redone with DHCD and Dan Robillard, and I believe it was 43,000 of reserves that we used, and it might have been for the roof and siding job here at Parker that had started in 15. And we're using also some of the reserves for Chandler Way as well.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none, I'll move for a vote to accept these financial statements and the quarterly operating statements for the period ending September 2020. Commissioner Chrissy Sheedy?
Yes.
Don Burrows?
Yes.
Dennis Sheedy?
Yes.
Tom Tebow?
Yes.
And Chair Whitup, so it is unanimous. Agenda item number 5 is the approval of the minutes from the October 13th, 2020 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 2020 meeting as written.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Dennis Sheedy and a second by Commissioner Don Burrows to approve the minutes from the October 13th, 2020 meeting. Is there any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none. I will say this is a very thorough minutes, very thorough. Okay, do a roll call vote. Commissioner Chrissy Sheedy
Yes.
and Don Burrows,
Yes.
Dennis Sheedy
Yes.
and Tom Tebow.
Yes.
And Chair Whitup, yes, so it's unanimous to approve the minutes as presented from the October 13th, 2020 meeting. Agenda item number 6 is, yay, funding award letter from DHCD Compliance Reserve or Eisenhower Drive de-letting in the amount of $25,000.
Yes, ma'am. We
Where we
are,
at, Kathy?
excuse me,
Where we at?
number 6. Where are we at with that?
Yeah.
They awarded the $25,000 out of their compliance reserve to do the de-letting. We actually have a project in place. It's gonna come in under 10,000 to do the actual de-letting. So we're getting at least 3. We have the bid, the front end of the bid packet ready to go, and bids are due in next Thursday, and it should be a 30-day time, because they actually are physically going to remove windows and replace them instead of scraping windows and trying to de-lead. Because there are only certain windows, so they're just gonna pull the windows and put them in. And the turnaround time will really be waiting on those windows. So it's a 30-day notice to proceed date.
How many windows are we talking?
It's 2 windows, but it's actually 4 because they're double windows. It's a very strange setup. There's a window and another window and a wall in between, if you will. Their cellar, basically, half above ground, a little above grade.
So the 25,000 should be more than adequate.
Oh, yes, with the soft costs, yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yep.
And hopefully then it should be heading, be approved, start work sometime soon, end of
Very-
December, beginning of January. Shouldn't take them long to do that. And that would be it. We would then be able to go forward with leasing it.
Yes, maintenance is in there. We'll be going in there tomorrow, actually, to, couple of things. They need to put a banister on 3 steps where there's no banister. They need to make the fireplace that it is in there currently deactivated. We want to put a box around the sump pump that's in the garage, because it's right at the front door of the garage and we don't want anybody to ever hit it. But we're also going to deactivate the garage so that they can't park their cars in there, which will be easy to do. Couple of little things. Oh, there's a wall mount TV apparatus on the wall, so we just got to patch and repair that, but it shouldn't take very long to get that ready. We'll be able to do that while they're even working on the windows, because the windows are on a different level.
So who actually recommended shutting down the garage?
That would be me.
Any particular reason? I'm just curious.
There's a few reasons, actually, because quite honestly, I don't want anybody hitting that sump pump. It literally jets out and then there's a pole in the garage. It's right at the front. You'd have to have a small car to get in there, and it looks like it's a 2-car garage, but the other side is very small and it's under the house. So I was concerned with carbon monoxide, even though you have detectors. I just didn't like that setup per se. And it would be there's not really a lot of storage in the house. It would be a place for people to have storage as well.
Okay.
And at any time, if any commissioner would like to take a look at the property, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to show you.
So
Kathy,
you're
is
gonna include in the lease that the garage is it's only for storage and no storage of a car or a vehicle?
We will do an addendum to the lease to that, yes. I haven't gotten that far yet. We did do one screening. We only had one person that actually is qualified, we believe, at the moment. They live out in Haverhill currently, so I don't know how doable that's going to be. So we're going to do another list poll as well. Again, we've been focusing on the audit, so I'm not sure exactly where we are at this very moment with that poll list.
Did you have a question, Tom?
yes, is someone visiting the property on a regular basis?
Absolutely, yes. Yes. They've been mowing the lawns, checking, and we've been down there a few times ourselves with the architect or not the architect, the designer for the lead abatement. And Dan goes down there pretty regularly just to check it out too.
Yeah, just vacant homes just have a
Mhm.
tendency to fall apart.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nope, this is in good shape. I assure you, that's not falling apart.
All right,
And
nobody
it's-
call you if you have a link.
And the heat, I'm sure, is keeping
Oh,
it
it's on.
warm for the
Yeah.
water pipes.
Yes, absolutely. Heat and electricity is on in the home.
I saw the bills on the bill list.
Yes.
I have a point to make on the letter from DHCD. Did anybody else notice that in parentheses in the first paragraph, they called it 26 Paquonicket Avenue instead of Eisenhower Drive?
Oh, no. I noticed 7051A, they changed it to A.
Yeah, no, it was an A. Paquonicket was an A for whatever reason.
It's always an A, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
Usually that's the second iteration when they put an A on it. That'll take probably 3 months to correct, Commissioner Whitup, so we might not want to point that out.
yeah, we could just leave that be. It's fine.
Put a colorful sticky note on it for yourself.
I think you should cross it out in screaming red pen and send it back to them.
I should, yeah. Mhm.
Not until we get the money.
Right, thank you. Who was that? Who said that?
Have
Tom?
me.
I'll second that, Tom. Do we take a vote on this or to put it, okay. Okay,
A little discouraging that you only have one family from Haverhill, but
I know. Well, because everything pops up as emergencies, but now with Mass Narrow doing it too, it will be interesting to see what happens.
whether this family even has an interest in, I mean, you're talking 80 miles away.
I know, I know.
Time will tell.
Yep.
okay. Any further discussion on the compliance reserve from DHCD award letter for the de-letting of Eisenhower Drive? Okay, we'll move forward to agenda item number 7. Funding award letter from DHCD for formula funding fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $247,650.
I have one question on this, Kathy. This is the first year they're using the new formula, the new information. Did the money go up or down? Do you know?
It looks like it went up very slightly.
Okay.
Ours went down.
I know
Yeah.
Hanson's went down.
Yeah, this is about $5,000 different. I think last time it was 241.
Okay. You already have it spent, right?
Of course. Spent a couple of years before we got it.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a question, Kathy,
Sure.
on the paragraph that reads, please also note that in the order to best allow LHAs to plan effectively, DHCD will no longer recalculate formula funding awards on an annual basis and will instead move to recalculating every 5 years upon the completion of the latest FCA facilities condition assessment. Is that going to be a problem for Easton Housing Authority?
I don't believe that it will be.
I don't believe it will. So what they were doing before, if you put in 6 new windows and you updated your database, that might change your, what I forget what they call the index, and it might change the formula. Now they're saying that it's such a small iteration and it takes so much work. Let's do that every 5 years.
Mhm.
So it affects everybody the same way across the state.
Thank you, Commissioner Tebow. Are there any further questions on the funding award letter from DHCD for the formula funding fiscal year 2024? Is this another no vote item?
Correct.
Okay. Except, agenda item number 8, the executive director's updates, which were postponed from the November 10th meeting.
I'm good. My only questions were Eisenhower Drive, so I'm good.
How are we doing on vacancies, Kathy? Where are we now?
We've got quite a few more, actually. We're really getting slammed with them. Unit 43 Parker was leased up since this director's report was done. 73 Parker, we had a unit offer out and the person refused it, and that was the last person on the list. So now we have to pull another list. And we just received since November 1st, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more vacancies.
Including the 3 listed here, 11, 1? So, or is it 6 more than that?
6 more than that. We have 2 upcoming January 1st. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in November. We've had a lot of residents pass away. Quite a few of them unexpectedly and not due to COVID that we are aware of.
Mhm.
So the guys are turning them over quickly. Again, a lot of it is Champ is what's holding us back. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 10 units that are ready.
So you did sign up with Mass Narrow and you're using their Champ services, or MCAT now as they call it.
Correct. Yet to be determined, I actually wanted to call them. We have a little confusion on when they send out the paperwork for non-response. Does that mean that that person does not get the priority and preference that they applied for online? It does.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't 100% sure on that. So that would make the list a lot easier to do because you won't have them as emergencies. Perfect.
Correct.
Okay.
Getting rid of all those emergencies was the main aim, one of the main aims.
Yeah, well, that's what's really hindering us from getting through the list.
Yep.
I actually did get a copy of that letter, Kathy, in my packet. The Mass Narrow Champ Assistance Team Participation
Yes.
Agreement.
Yes. Yep.
This isn't your original. You,
Mhm.
this one that I got is a copy of what you'll be sending.
No, we already sent, that's already gone
On
in.
November 5th, right? It was
Yes.
sent on November 5th.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion on the executive director's updates?
Do you think that there's going to be any impact now that we're starting to dial back in terms of phasing? The governor announced reductions in the phasing options today, and with the surges and the holidays, I'm just wondering, how is the lease up going when you have all these things that have to kind of be considered?
I am worried about that. Yet to be determined. We've had 2 employees that have had scares recently in their families with COVID, but I did have them quarantined, so that pulled it back some. Yeah, I'm very concerned about that. I don't know what's going to happen. Again, I leave it up to my staff. I ask them at all times if they're comfortable with the way things are going. If there's anything, I mean, at any time, any of them are really concerned. We do have laptops ready to go. And all their desktops are now on these laptops so they can do some working from home. And if it comes to that point again, we'll do what we were doing before. We'll rotate coming in the office with just one person at a time. We have the air purifiers with the blue lights in them. So they handle the air on a regular basis. The guys clean in here constantly. We clean in here constantly.
So as far as like applicants coming in that they've come to the top of the list, you're trying to get, units occupied. Is anybody saying, no, I'm not coming? I don't feel comfortable coming in to look at an apartment, or, just showing apartments? Is that difficult?
Well, we haven't shown any in a couple of weeks. So prior to this, no, we haven't run into that. It will be interesting to see what happens. I don't know that that's going to be an issue. Yet to be determined, I think.
I would do as much fast forwarding as you can to get those, because those could sit for a while if they shut down everything again.
Again, our admin staff person that handles that was just out for the past 2 weeks. One was scheduled vacation, the other week was due to COVID. So this did lag behind, and we were trying to get all the documents together and compiled for the auditors. So that right now, we actually had the discussion today that the focus is now going to be on the vacancies. So our other part-timer is doing a HUD training this week. So she's out at home with the laptop doing the training for the Section 8 program. But when she comes back, she's going to pull lists. I've asked about hiring a temp. Again, I've had the discussions with Dawn, and she feels like it will take too much time to try to get somebody trained.
Yep.
To do all the mailings. She said, I'd just rather do them, me and Donna, and we'll focus on that. And I'll, help out with phones and whatever I can to alleviate some of those problems.
I know. There's just too much going on. It's hard to keep it all straight with everything, reductions in staff on occasion. And it's just very difficult. And sometimes I, once again, don't think the department absolutely gets it.
No, I agree.
So for you to have to even do an AUP right now and suck up all your time doing that, I get it. But I think they don't get it. And they need to revisit all those things that they think they've extended us extra time on, and that they've given us the proper guidance. I think they're once again sitting up in their towers doing a big fat zero.
Yeah. Well, just so you're assured, we are really doing the best we can here, and staff is working very hard because it's our mission to house people. And this is very disheartening when I look at this vacancy board on a regular basis. And there really isn't any excuse for it, quite honestly. Poor planning on the department's part, I would say.
And Kathy, you still have Larry Armstrong coming in, cleaning?
Yes, absolutely.
That is a carrot that you can offer, to anybody who's considering moving in.
Mhm.
You're being dedicated with that. And I
Absolutely.
consider that, an indication that Easton Housing Authority cares about their residents and their safety against COVID, possible spread of COVID.
On a happier note, I was in contact with Santa, who does our holiday parties, and he was actually going to come and just walk the property one day next week and let everybody know Santa's still around. And then if anybody wants to come out, hand out some masks and see what happens. So we'll send out a robocall on the day that he's coming. And, obviously he won't go into any of the buildings, but we'll let residents know if they need it. He'll probably walk around. He's pretty boisterous and ho, 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 a lot. So hopefully that brings up some spirits, I would hope.
And Kathy should also let people know they've put some lighting up on the gazebos, and they've got some reindeer out there, and they're trying to brighten up the outdoors.
We're trying a little bit.
Very nice.
I was reading the Council on Aging monthly newsletter, and they have a calling program. So now that we may go back into quarantine, you want me to make sure that they've sent you enough of those, the newsletters with that information?
They sent us an email. We're going to put those up in the community rooms. And when we have an opportunity, I'll have the guys put them by the mailboxes as well, so people can see that. Thank you though, Pam.
Kathy, you have anything for putting Santa Claus's bag?
Masks, and actually, I had discussed this with Commissioner Sheedy one day. I'm a little apprehensive. I don't know how to go about it. I was thinking of maybe buying some gift cards from the grocery stores and maybe having Santa hand some of those out and using some of the COVID funds for that as a little pick-me-up, spirit pick-me-up, perhaps. I don't know if that's something I can do.
Food distribution is a legitimate cost. You just have to make sure you account for it, you
Yes.
know, so that you have a name next to every card. So if you're gonna distribute them,
So we'd have to get their names. Santa would have to write down the names when, if he hands out gift
What-
cards.
gonna hand them out randomly?
Yes, whoever comes out. I don't think there's enough funding to do it for every resident. So we were going to, for instance, like we do at the holiday party, when we got raffles, well, we do a raffle, but whoever comes out to see him, I'd make sure we had enough. And that's the other thing. If we get too many of them, then what do you do?
We
Save 'em for
just
next
had that
year?
happen at one of our developments, and they had 60 for 120 people, and afterwards, a bunch of people called City Hall and said what a horrible thing it was. Why didn't they get anything?
See, that's what my concern is. I don't know what to do.
It's
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe masks and hand sanitizer again, even though we just distributed those, it might be the way to go. You know, you just try to do what you can to give them a little bit of happiness but you also don't want to upset others. So I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do that one.
yeah.
There are holiday masks on Amazon. You can get surgical masks and all sorts of holiday designs.
Well, I have a whole bunch I got, again, 2,000 white, they just white washable masks, but they're in packs of 5. So those are free. I can't even remember how I got them now. Every day is turning into a blur.
Maybe you can get Hilliard's to give you some chocolates to hand out. But
They
I
won't.
know, it takes work.
I could buy chocolates. That might actually be, I could maybe go out and buy some.
Just something that, you know, they could get, or $10 at CVS maybe instead of $25 to Shaw's.
Well, I was thinking a bunch of $10 ones for them to hand out, but again, then if somebody gets wind and they didn't get them because they chose not to come out, or if I wind up not having enough, what do you do then?
Yeah.
Chocolates is a little easier. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Commissioner Burrows, do you have any comments on Christmas? Okay, hearing no more discussion on the executive director's updates, which was agenda item number 8. That's another no vote, I understand, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So general questions or comments? My screen says that we have a caller. If there is someone here that's been on the phone listening to this meeting and they have a question about the proposed annual plan for fiscal year 2022, please speak up now.
I would like to suggest that in order to pick up spirits here, that lift the ban on feeding the birds. That was a #1 thing for people. You could have it set up like you do for dogs. 3 messes not picked up, you lose your privilege. Plus that, our woodpeckers are down by 70% in Massachusetts. So we'd be helping the birds also. Because I know, to me, we're caretakers of them through our Lord or the man above or the woman above or whatever. But I know myself being laid up for as long as I have, that would pick my spirit up more than chocolate or going to the store and maybe catching COVID.
Okay, thank you, caller. You failed to identify yourself. Would you please identify yourself, caller?
My name is Beth Blair, Unit 111.
Okay, you don't need to let us know exactly where you are. Thank you for that. I had asked for questions on the annual plan, and your question was about the bird feeders and waiving it temporarily. I'd like to,
To pick up spirit. The plan, I never knew about it. I never got a notice because I have been by my doctor off my feet to heal from a fall here on the property. So I have no idea. That's another thing to think about is information for the people that are shut-ins.
The annual plan was also on our website for people to access.
Well, I can't access it. My services were turned off for lack of payment.
I understand that being quarantined due to COVID or being quarantined due to medical issues can be very frustrating. And I empathize with you, Ms. Blair. I want to ask you if you have neighbors or friends that call you regularly and check in with you, because that is
No,
can be very helpful.
I have no family. I'm the last in my family. So I have no one. I have one friend here. Well, Jane also is a friend, but nobody bothers. And really, it's better for me so I can take naps when I need to help heal my body.
On the topic of the bird feeder, I need to ask the board, is that something that, since we've already voted on it and settled on it, that we cannot bring up at this meeting?
The way I understand public meeting law, you can listen to the person who has the comment. You can't take action on it because it hasn't been posted. And it would be up to the chair to decide whether it was an item that came on. But we have voted on it, as you said.
Yes, it is a current policy.
Yeah, and if you remember, when we voted on it last time, it was on the agenda, and there were people who were in opposition to it also. So there were people for and against it, and that's why it has to be posted if you're going to discuss it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Commissioner Tebow. I will say that
I didn't know that. I was just trying to pick up spirit there.
You've done nothing wrong,
That's
Colin.
all.
as the chair, and I save my records for the meetings and then archive them after about a year. And my records on the bird feeder policy were about 25 to 30% as thick as my records on Aquonicut Avenue. We covered it extensively, and it is my decision that we are not going to bring this up at the meeting. I am sorry, Ms. Blair. I hope that you can reach out to a friend for communication. Okay. Now we need to schedule the next meeting. I showed January 12th, Tuesday.
You're muted, Dennis.
Oh, you're muted again, Dennis. There you go.
Now you.
I just had a question on the roofs.
Yes,
Weren't those being bid out?
those were bid out. They started this week.
So they started the work already?
Correct.
Beautiful. That's it for me. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm gonna schedule next meeting for January 12th, Tuesday, 2021. Is that all right with you, Chrissy Sheedy
That works for me.
and Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
Commissioner Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
and Commissioner Tebow?
Yes, yep, 5 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, 5 p.m. on January 12th, 2021. And I want to wish everyone a safe and healthy Christmas, keeping you all in my prayers. I want you to know that.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Same to you. And to everybody, remember the light's coming. The light's at the end of the tunnel. I'm hearing all good stuff. People in England getting shots today.
Well,
Yes. I have an in on Moderna, the lab that has the vaccine Moderna. My sister used to work on patent, and she said they're a very reputable organization. So I'm enthusiastic about the
good.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn at 5:56 p.m. Do a roll call. Chrisanne Sheedy,
Yes.
Don Burrows,
Yes.
Dennis Sheedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Tebow,
Yes.
and Chair Widdop. Yes, so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Happy
Thank you.
holidays. Thank you.
Enjoy, folks, as best you
See
can.
you in person soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.